Okay, welcome again. Once again, welcome. Okay. This is the gearing update video that I figure I start, well, I'm not going to end up doing it that long, because I'm practically best in slot. But I should clarify that there are two different builds that I have running. The current one, which is the raid one, that's got my haste braces with the Nerubian embellishment. That one's already got a socket on it, because I knew that I was going to get that to 3.6 or 636 eventually. That may be this week. And as well, we have a number of potential upgrades. If we get a socket, there's only one socket that I'm missing now, and that's in the helmet slot. But we are practically biz. Yeah, and everything else is basically in line with what we're looking for in terms of pure damage output. So let's actually see what we can get from our vault. Things that we can upgrade. If we get a Mythic Skarmorak shard, that would be absolutely massive. If we don't get a Mythic Skarmorak shard, likely, see this right here, even though this would technically be best down the line, in the current state, what we can get is probably just a socket for our helmet here. This is a socketed one already. Crit Verse, I already have a socketed one with Leech on it. That's not necessary. Already have the ultra rare or the very rare, whatever. I would consider getting this, but again, not at all necessary. So this is just the socket week this week. Oh no, this is just the socket week this week. What that also means is that my biggest upgrade is now likely my Mark of Cardros going all the way to 639, and now I'll have 45. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not correct, actually. What this probably means is that I have 90 crests that I can spend. I will likely create my Everforged Van Braces with the socket one as crit haste braces at 636, and then continue to use this temporarily in the meantime as my Mythic Plus build as well, just because the eye level difference as well as the socket is going to make enough of a difference that that's going to, kind of offset from my Mythic Plus build. So I wanted to kind of include how I determine what the biggest upgrade is for us. So as I was talking about before, is my Van Braces going to be the biggest upgrade, or is upgrading Mark of Cardros 10 item levels, is that going to be the bigger upgrade, etc. And when you have a limited amount of resources, as we are to do, right, because we're only going to have an extra 90 gilded crests, that will actually kind of determine what upgrade is the best upgrade for this week. Sometimes the best upgrade for this week is not the best upgrade in the long run. Unfortunately, since we are after, the Hall of Fame race, which is potentially going to close this week or the next week, right? We really do need to kind of focus on the short term rather than, the long term. At the start of the tier, you might be a little bit greedy and push it a little bit, right? But here's what we would normally use, right? So for our purposes here, we're in the single target set. We're also in the single target talents. That shouldn't be much of a surprise. And we use this add-on called Simulation Craft, right? What you would do here is you would copy the text that's here. So this is everything that you need basically from your bags, as well as gear, as well as talents. And what you can do with that is you can go from there to raidbots, right? You can go to raidbots.com, and here you can actually do Droptimizer or Top Gear. For our purposes today, we're actually going to be going through Top Gear. and the text of simulation craft will go in here, right? You don't want any of this existing information. You put that in, and it should effectively auto-populate your current set as well as any of the existing, like currency that you've got, etc. What I'm expecting and what the best case scenario is for us is to say, okay, well, I have 90 gilded crests, not 900, 90 gilded crests, right? And that's it, right? I have as many catalyst charges as I need, I have 90 gilded crests, and that's kind of the goal going forward. How would I then actually improve what we are going to do? Well, here we can actually just say, oh, I want to just upgrade this for 90 gilded crests, and as it's upgraded I can also recraft this however much as I want to, right? I can recraft this to crit mastery, and let's say I don't want that, right? Or I can actually include that. So the goal here is that I want to actually upgrade one of these values, and I can upgrade this to 390 639. Jesus, if I can speak. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of it, right? Now you can go through and check what, just make sure that we've got different stats here. Yep, crit mastery, this is still haste mastery. And for our purposes here, you can also change any of the existing stuff as well. Scouts, defenders, it doesn't really matter what. Obviously, these don't really make that much of a difference. This doesn't really make that much of a difference. On the Sims, it may sometimes prefer speed, but that may be because, you've put in some combination of like hectic movement or something like that. For our purposes, and for Ret, or general kind of simming purposes, I think most people kind of do this in single target. It's patchwork, one boss, 5 minutes. You can have optimal buffs, and make sure that you don't have any power infusion, PI, and that's it. Yeah, so simulation's done. And now you can see what the actual upgrades of these are, right? So the Skarmorak Shard or Mark of Kardros upgrade that we're looking at is a plus 7.3 thousand. Oh, sorry. This is our current gear. It'll update or 7.3 thousand if I do the Mark of Kardros upgrade, or I can do the, as I expected, the crit mastery upgrade with this as well. And you can see that it's moved some gems around. That's not that surprising. And we're at 8.6 thousand. And I think if I just move, if I move some gems around as well, it's saying that that's better. Yeah, I mean, this is all the same, right? Again, yeah, same thing. Crit mastery. These are all the same, basically. It's putting the gems in different spots, but those are all just variations of the same thing, basically. Yeah. As I expected, the best upgrade here is 636. What's happened here? Flonk has invited me to a group? I guess I'm doing a key. Alright. Okay, so this is the final segment. I've just farmed my 90 crests, and we've gone through the process of actually recrafting our braces. So these are the ones that I had previously in my single target set because it's got the Nerubian embellishment doubling effect. And we've recrafted it to crit mastery. I actually recorded this before and actually lost the footage, so I can't do it again, obviously, but it is now 636 from 619, and you can see that it does actually retain the socket. A lot of people were kind of wondering whether or not it's going to retain the socket, or whether or not I'm going to have to put another socket on, etc. For now, no, but I still also have... Oh, that is... I still also have this one that I'm going to be eventually using, much later on when I've got a plenty more crests that when you're pushing M plus and you want your BIS gear, I suspect that it's going to be double woven dawn threads as the best BIS embellishments, and as a result, what we probably want is 2 crafted pieces with the woven embellishment on them. Unfortunately, they can only go on armor pieces, so I think that I'm going to end up putting them on the van braces themselves, and likely it's going to be on boots as well. So my boots and the van braces are both going to have to be replaced, so I need a new socket for this as well. And that's the last socket that I'm probably going to actually need, because everything else is basically fully done. In terms of the BIS list, what do I need? I need like 3 things, basically. I need a replacement or an upgrade on Skarmorak Shard, and that can be a Mythic Vault Skarmorak Shard that can happen. It can be Mythic Treacherous Transmitter. That one's not ideal. And it can also be the Mercurial Overnax egg, the purple egg. Actually, you know what? There's 4 of them, because you can also get Mythic WeakAuras Sackbrood as well. Again, less likely to happen because it has to be a Mythic track one. Already got both hero track ones already. So those are the 4 things that I can get in my trinket. This ring needs to be updated to the Queen Ansarek ring, either on heroic or mythic level, technically. Obviously, the mythic level will be much better. I think the actual number is almost 40k difference in terms of actual just pure single target DPS, which is actually crazy. Even the heroic one is almost 20,000 single target DPS of an upgrade over my current verse ring. Yep. And then there's only one more thing that I can actually think of, which would be the very rare ring off of Sikran. The stats themselves aren't the best, I will say that up front. It is 639, and it does have an additional effect on top of it, which you can call it. Let's quickly just pull that up, right? And it's high haste and a bit of mastery. It's not the best, because our haste, just as a general rule in single target, is much better, but in M plus sort of situation, personally, I don't like haste nearly as much as I would like crit. Crit just seems to perform a little bit better, mostly because of how, Empyrean Hammer tends to work, right? Okay. So that's it. Our end item level for this tier is going to be 638, somewhere within that range. Short of you kind of griefing and replacing your crafted pieces with embellishments with 639 pieces, you're never actually going to get there, but you can get pretty close to 639. And yeah, I reckon by next week it's guaranteed we're going to hit 637, and potentially the week after is where we're going to be 638, because likely we're going to kill Queen Ansareg this week or next week, and then the week after is going to be re-clears, and hopefully by then we'll have gotten one of the trinkets. Alright? See you guys probably tomorrow. Peace.